Oh, you are in the right place. It's Thursday. We're starting a little late today. Even a little later than we planned to start, but that's okay. We're going to take a ridiculous dating question from the wild animals on Reddit starting right now.
You think your love life is going kind of bad?
I don't know, now that spring's here, I'm optimistic.
If you find out your girlfriend accidentally banged your dad.
It's under the couch again.
Think your romance
I got
maybe
it. I'll
ain't
do it with one hand
no
again. Just to mock Jake.
Part of the podcast is just going to be Jericho lifting the couch over and over and over again.
Lifting things in front of people with back injuries.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the new podcast.
Feats of strength in front of the injury.
Of lifting.
Listen to the
What can we stick under the couch now?
or your life is screwed.
I like this song.
Yeah.
Joel did a
By
great
none
job.
other than Joel on YouTube. That's right. You heard the man. This is the Love Gurus podcast.
Oh,
yes. I'm super happy to be here. Suzanne, how was your week?
Well, it's just been great. Listeners, so little inside joke. We obviously started late. We had already planned to start a little bit late today because, we all were coming from somewhere. But then we lost something under the couch. Our amazing guest Jericho had to lift it with one hand.
That's right.
And and as you can see, we have a new setup. Jake and Amy have this table that lifts up. Oh, what? Only just now.
Only just
Teresa
now.
was like, "Hey, why don't you guys use that, you idiots?"
That's right.
So basically, these two guests have revolutionized our
saved us.
podcast. In
saved
like
us.
10 minutes.
And we needed it too because I have a really bad back injury and I can't fucking lift anything, not even
Yeah.
this table, which is
So-
supposed to lift.
But that being said, we should introduce them properly. Yes.
Super excited about our guest tonight. First up, she is a first-time guest of the show, a hilarious stand-up comic, the one, the only, Teresa DeGaetano. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me, everybody. Excited to be here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Tell them where they can find you.
You can find me at Teresa DeGaetano on Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook. And Friday night I'm hosting, which is tomorrow at Westside Comedy Club. It's called the Current Offenses Show at 10 p.m.
Nice.
super fun.
Go see her live. She's hilarious. Speaking of hilarious, let me introduce our second guest, a returning guest of the podcast, always hysterical, always funny on stage and on the podcast, the one, the only, Jericho Davidson. Thank you for being back on the show.
Hi.
Oh, how you been, man?
I've been good.
Good.
Yeah,
Tell them where they
chilling.
can find you.
I'm Jericho Davidson on all the stuff. Jericho effing Davidson on Instagram.
That's right.
Yeah.
Jericho
Nice.
effing Davidson. Look him up. Go see him live. Check him out on Instagram.
Yeah, I'll be Friday as well. I'll be playing with the rock and roll band, The Pretty Bitchin' at pianos.
Nice.
One of the things that I do.
Nice.
Cool.
Very
That's
cool.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
9 o'clock. You can catch us both.
Yes.
Mine's at 9. Hers
Yeah,
at 10.
10. Double header.
Just go in for some tunes, little concert, and then head over to the comedy show.
You can do something other than seeing our two guests live Friday night, but if you do, you're wrong. You're wrong. So
Yeah.
don't do it. Don't do it.
I
Go
agree,
see them
I agree
live.
with Jake on this.
That's right.
It would be a mistake.
That's right. That's
If
right.
you're thinking, listen, I'm going to go to Patsy's Pizzeria and get $10 off a seated, you're wrong.
Right. It's going to be a mistake right up there with not letting Hitler into art school. That's how bad you're fucking up right
You're
now.
love a
you're
Patsy's.
you're
Yes.
the one that's getting the Hindenburg off of the ground. You're
Yes.
wrong. You're wrong.
Yes. Let me also, if you're listening out there on SoundCloud, on iTunes, on Spotify, any of that good stuff, A, like and subscribe. B, thank you for listening. But C, watch us live on YouTube. Usually every week we're 8:30 p.m. Eastern, so check us out. Check us out live. Hit like and subscribe. Ask us questions. Give us comments right there in the chat. Speaking of comments, Matt on YouTube says, fire up the still. Indeed. He says, who is going to have to use the bathroom first? Pounding seltzers. Hi, Amy. Oh, and shout out to producer Amy, telling everybody hi. And she says, I hope people didn't give up on us. Yes, hope they didn't as well. Joel on YouTube says, good evening, friends. Good evening,
Hello,
Joel.
Joel.
And thank you, as always, for writing us an amazing
Great theme song, bud.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
very cool.
Crushed it as always. Crushed it as always.
Well, I just went to the bathroom, so I think I'm
Yeah.
So I have the lowest odds of having to go to the bathroom.
I'm pretty, I think, dehydrated in general, so I would say I'm in the bottom two
Yeah.
as far as next.
Not to tip my hand on this one. I didn't just injure my back. I am wearing Depends like a deranged astronaut going to get revenge on her new baby's mama. Anyway, let's get this show started. We're going to take our first question from the wild animals on Reddit. People, do you have a question out there to write us? Write it to loveguruspodcast@yahoo.com, or even better, watch live every Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, ish. Give us the questions, give us the comments right there in the chat. For now, we're going to take our first question from the wild animals on Reddit.
So as you may have known from our post, the theme for this week is how others see your relationship.
Oh, shit.
So the first question is, dating a guy my friends think is a loser. I'm 27 and I've been seeing a guy who's 30 on and off for 6 months, and we're thinking about being official, but my friends keep bringing up and saying that he's not worth my time. First, I'd like to talk about his good points. Our personalities match very well. The first week we started talking, we talked for over 8 hours until the sun came up. We were able to connect on a deep philosophical level, and I have lots of fun flirting and teasing him. I find him incredibly intelligent, honest, and blunt. Now for the bad. We're different religions. He's a devout Christian, and I am an atheist. His family are pastors, and he goes to church, and he said that he'd like his children to go to church one day. Honestly, it's something that I'm not really comfortable with, but I guess it's a discussion for a later time. Next, even though he's wickedly intelligent and witty, he is
Wicked
lazy.
smart, as they say in Boston.
He is lazy by career standards. I'm quite ambitious and have risen steadily in my salary and career. He recently got laid off and seems a bit unconcerned about his career. His parents also didn't teach him good financial literacy. His entire family is in tens of thousands of credit card debt, and he is in $30,000 worth of credit card debt.
They're praying the debt away.
He's learned how to take care of his finances, and he's steadily paying them off. And he aims to be debt-free next year. He lives at home with his parents and has never moved out. I guess the last thing that my friends don't like about him is the fact that he is overweight and has health issues.
Well, there's a lot to unpack there.
That last thing was the first thing I liked about the guy. Fucking overweight. All right, there's something I like about this fucking
It's
nerd.
redeemable. Yeah, he prays and eats chicken. I love this guy.
However, he has begun to go to the gym consistently and wants to lose weight. To me, these are all things that can be worked through. He's sincerely applying for jobs and every day actively trying to get better, and it seems like it's for me.
Man.
No doubt, I appreciate it, but is his best what I should hope for? Are my friends right, or could this really be a relationship? So, I mean, certainly one thing I will say, just straight off the bat, is so y'all get the concept. It's she's been seeing this guy for 6 months. They're kind of thinking about going official, but what's holding her back is the fact that her friends are like, he's a loser. Mm-hmm. What I will say, though, is that if you're on the dating apps and finding people, one thing I think that's really difficult for people to get over is they find one thing wrong with someone and they're like, well, there's probably someone else better out there in these 87 apps that I have downloaded. Damn. And it's, there's always this idea that there's maybe someone else out there better, rather than like, oh, I actually just really like this person. They seem nice. I have a spark with them. And then growing that relationship. They're waiting for that like lightning bolt of, oh my God, it's Steve Martin and Roxanne.
I was thinking that maybe
your geriatric references. You
That was
remember Steve Martin's seventh most famous movie?
You remember when who wants to talk about Liza?
I was like, well, maybe the D's real good.
Yeah.
Right at first, as I started, it's like, oh.
Well, I'm gonna cut you off on that. He lives at home.
He lives at home. He's a fat Christian.
The fat thing, that one doesn't bother me. The one thing is like when you call someone a loser, like her friends are. It's a different word. Like I think that they need to be a little gentler with her. Gentler, is that gentler? Yes. But the religion's a red flag. You can't. If you're an atheist, you're not going to date the Christian. She's got that right away. Is regardless of anything else, you got to cut that. That doesn't work.
depends. It depends on what kind of atheist, right? So I think there's two kinds of atheists, right? There's the Bill Maher kind of atheist, which I used to be. You know, it's like, fuck religion. It's all a bunch of Harry Potter books that people die and get molested for, you know? And now I'm more like the atheist. It's like, hey, what the fuck do I care? You know what I mean? Yeah. I just shrug. And I'm like, I've lied about being religions just to try to get laid at the end of the night. You know what I mean?
My first cruising grounds were like youth groups.
Yeah.
Like the teenager,
sure.
Mormon,
Young Life.
yeah, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I was just a savage. So, like, going to, like, the Church of Latter-day Saint, the Mormon girls were by far the best.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, dude.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
I'd go to
all
these
that
youth groups.
repression.
Oh, yeah. And then we'd go finger bang in the wash.
That's right.
I'm from Arizona. They're called rivers.
I was on top of the spin cycle? What do you mean? That was a great outdoors reference.
Right?
You got me.
I liked it. I liked it.
Yeah.
Thank you. I saw your Steve Martin. I got you a John Candy.
That's right. That's right. One-liners from 80s
Dan Aykroyd,
comedies.
here we
That's
go.
what it's all about.
This poor girl. We got off track.
Yeah.
Wait, okay. What do we think? What do you think?
So again, you know, I think that what I do think, and this is, I'm commending her, because a lot of times what happens when people write questions is that they really kind of leave out the dirty details. Like, they're sort of fishing for an answer. If she had already made up her mind, like, she really is indecisive. If she had already made up her mind, she wouldn't have gone through. I mean, this is a lot, and I truncated it. Okay, I took stuff out. I kept the main bullet points, but I had to edit this question a little bit just because it was so long. So, I mean, she was really forthcoming with this laundry list of what's wrong with this guy, and just kind of saying, like, these are the things. So I feel like that is showing that she's being objective. If not, she would just be like, "Hey, internet, my friends say he's a loser, but we love each other. Are they wrong?" You know, because they want the internet to be like, "Your friends are losers." And, you know, so this is, you know, but also
That's
being said,
true. Everyone is the attorney of their own side in all these questions.
Well, she has to figure out what her non-negotiables are. I guess the 40-year-old me is coming out on this podcast. Here we go, everybody. Who's going to therapy? You know, what is she looking for, and what is most important to her? Because there's a lot of flags in there. Like, the credit card debt is big, and how's he going to get out of that? And you can love somebody and be like, this is a great connection, but I don't know if this is going to really go
do you want to
far.
saddle your taxes to that?
Yes,
guy,
that's a good point.
You know?
I hope
It
she
is
just
tax
gets
season.
a big thumbtack board, and she's like, listen, religious/superstitious, fat, ugly,
Broke.
credit card debt. Yeah.
Lives with his folks.
Lives with
That
folks.
doesn't bother me.
Fucking-
That's
You
just-
can choose.
Yeah, you're in your 40s,
Right.
and you have sense. You've had sex more than once. You're like, I'll take fat any day.
Yeah. Fat in 40s is what we call a normal ass dude. You know what I mean? So it's like,
let's
100%. That's way more negotiable.
let's call
I
this
say
what
he
it
gets to
is.
pick 3 out of 5. You know, he can pick any 3 out of 5.
He's a fucking loser.
He sucks.
Yeah. I agree,
Like, even
because-
if you'd accept some of those, there's other stuff where it's like, yeah, but I can't do that other thing.
Because here's what I don't understand is that, I mean, I understand it, but how can you live at a home, you arguably don't pay rent. How do you get $30,000 in the whole, like, if you were like, oh, I have
It's pretty
$30,000
wild,
of student loan, okay,
loans,
that's a whole different story. But when you're just like, oh, I just kept buying fucking Candy Crush credit,
You know,
and now I'm $30,000 in debt.
Okay. You know what? I'm going to back him on this one. Have any of you ever been on the internet? Everything you could ever want is on the internet.
Yeah.
And they all take credit cards.
Yes, but that's what I'm saying.
You
Does
go on the
he have-
dark web, but you can buy a wife and heroin from the same site. It's wild.
Because to be fair, does she open their back patio door and it's an above ground pool with a slide? I'm not mad. Okay,
True.
You know, that's maybe 10,000 of
dude.
the 30.
If
That is not a good idea. Though, an above ground pool with a slide.
That's pretty
You can't
awesome.
go head first.
Insurance
there
laws.
I again
Ballsy.
to go. There I go again.
Well-
I'm like, that is a dangerous thing. Put up the
Dangerous.
sign.
You gotta have a little
We used
bit
to
of,
do that in the
and
80s,
then there's a
you know?
there's a trampoline next
Not of all of us
door
made it.
with a ball pit.
I remember the first time I watched Steve Martin's Roxy, I did it in a fucking full body cast from my above ground slide.
I genuinely think that the only reason why I got into college and some other kids in my school didn't was because of trampolines. Like,
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
they just flip off of them. It's like, oh, Natalie's not so smart anymore.
Trampolines in the 80s over pavement. It's like we were playing in Squid Games for chuckles instead of millions of dollars.
I only got into a state school by a hair.
I was a state schooler as well. But we got those street smarts.
Yes.
Suzanne.
Yeah.
I'm behind on comments. Let's see. Matt on YouTube says, I have to, he's talking about you guys' show. I have to have a testicle removed, but I'll try to be at both your shows. That's right.
Oh, wow.
That's the spirit, bud.
Because if you don't
Oh,
see both their
sweet.
shows, then you'll have no balls, as far as I'm concerned. Matt says his band is really coming together. Nice. Yeah. Fucking A, man. Go see Jericho's band.
Yeah,
absolutely.
for sure.
Matt says moving too fast. Joel on YouTube says he told her that he was going to he was going to the gym, and then he was really going to Chick-fil-A next door. Yeah. The old Chick-fil-A.
So dedicated.
Cardio
In
shuffle.
middle America, it's really easy because a lot of they're all in strip malls. So you just drive in front of the gym, park, put your pin, say, "Oh, I'm at the gym," and then walk to Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
Seriously.
A lot of them. A lot of the
that I haven't
Chick-fil-A's
done
will
that.
have connecting doors within the
What?
Chick-fil-A's.
Where
I'm
do
like,
they
what
live
is?
in here? Does it say where they live?
It doesn't say.
Oh,
yeah.
I forget there's other
Yeah,
parts
there's
of the
other parts of the
country.
country.
I was like, he lives at home. What is this apartment like?
Yeah.
And then
You're like, have you ever seen the line at the Chick-fil-A at the Barclays Center? I never go there. It's around the fucking block.
And when your gym in the strip mall has a connecting inner door to the Chick-fil-A, it's like, what is this, a fucking glory hole for cardio? This is ridiculous. I get to pretend I'm getting skinny? This is crazy.
that was very funny.
Joel on YouTube says, at Matt, Joe is a Catholic, Hunter is a Crystal Methodist.
That's a good joke.
Yes.
I was a Crystal Methodist for a while.
Goddamn right. I used to pray daily, 5 times a day, like a Muslim. Matt on YouTube says he is in the Church of Walter White. It's like Mormon, but there is a lot of scratching at church and matchbooks everywhere.
Oh, like I said, I was a preacher at the Crystal Methodist Church. I know all about it.
But
Saved by the Lord.
unlike preachers at regular church, he only fucked adults. So you know what I mean? Like he's way better than the real preachers.
I'm surprised you can read that, Jake. Like, I'm very impressed with that. Your back
I know.
might be thrown out, but look at that eyesight.
I
Got
know,
them
it's
eagle
20.
eyes. Got them eagle eyes.
Yeah, I turned 40 and I can't read none of that. I'm just
I wear contacts.
Matt on YouTube says, "Are you physically attracted to him?" I think he's talking to the lady in the question.
Ooh,
yeah, I mean,
yeah,
you know,
that's a good question.
It's a big one. I'm going to go out there and say no. Yeah, hopefully he's got.
I mean,
good
there's got to
going
be
game.
something.
No, I think she's
He's gotta
physically
have
attracted.
She's physically attracted
Yeah.
to him. There
Yeah.
has to be something.
He might be her first fat guy.
She
she's
doesn't,
dated.
yeah, because
She's into bears and
she
otters and all
said-
kinds of things.
She
Yeah.
said that she doesn't the weight part doesn't bother her, but also but the fact that he's like going to the gym and like wants to lose weight, she's sort of like, oh,
And
okay.
Yeah.
That's the thing about like when people say fat. You mean fat like me, or you mean like wash yourself with a stick? Fat?
Right.
Like there's a
one umbrella.
difference.
Oh my god!
You know?
Speaking of old '80s movies, me and Amy just rewatched The Burbs. The other night,
Love
you remember The
The
Burbs?
Burbs.
The Burbs
Great
is
movie.
fucking
Love
great.
that
Still
movie.
ages great. But you remember how there's that guy Art, who's like
Yeah.
Tom Hanks' friend.
Uh-huh.
He gets referred to like 5 fucking times in that movie as the fat guy.
Yeah.
the really fat guy. And I'm like, dude, that was like, I don't know, 88 or something.
Yeah.
Now in 2023, he's just the normal ass
Yeah.
dude. Art.
He was in
Yeah.
a lot of movies. I don't remember his
Yeah.
name, but he had like bit parts in a lot of movies.
Right, yeah, he's like
Yeah.
a character actor in like tons of old comedies and shit like that.
You'd
Like, he's
recognize
great.
him.
Yeah,
I was gonna
yeah.
say it's been a minute for the Burbs.
Yeah,
I
he's-
don't remember, but
It's still aged great. You should check it out. Joel on YouTube says, "No, oh, you meant the person writing the question? I thought you were asking me about Jake." With the are you physically attracted? Matt on YouTube says, "I got a sofa bed and a case of RC Cola on the." I've actually just been making up all these questions. I have no idea what they actually said.
oh yes, that guy.
Matt on YouTube says his mom keeps picking up the phone. Yeah, I mean it's got to be fucking awkward, right?
Yeah. So it's okay. So here's my final advice to this question: is I think that your friends are right. Okay.
Ding, ding,
and,
ding, ding.
and the reason why is again
sucks.
just because the fact that he lives at home and he's 30 years old. If you guys honestly, he's really kind of outside of my grace period by only 2 years. If he was like 28, I'm like, I could wrap my head around it. But the fact that he is living at home, it doesn't seem like if he was like living at home, and he was like 28, but he's like really ambitious because he's like saving for a house, and he's like getting a career or something.
Trying to get out of debt.
Yeah, trying to get out of debt. It's just, but the fact that he's just like kind of living at home and just, praying with the snakes on the weekend. Like, what are you talking about?
Pretty wild.
Like, I mean, that just seems like, but also why is it that why are you trying to force yourself into this relationship so much? So A, I think he's not good for you. B, like, I get that you talk until the sunrise, but that's because you
can't go home. You can't go home with him.
You can't
go
go
lives
home.
at home.
He's like, tell me about the time you bought your TV.
Yeah.
That's such an interesting story. How do you select your toothbrushes? Tell me about it.
My dad put cigarettes out on me to wake me up. I'll talk for you all night so I don't have to go home.
That's right. Anything, literally anything. But here's the thing. Did it say how old they are?
Yeah, I said 27.
27 and
She's
30.
27 to 30.
Okay. So that's what I thought. I wasn't positive. So he's old enough at this point. I think he can sleep with her at home. Why? Because the parents, if you think the friends don't like this fucking loser, holy shit, are the parents sick of living? Oh my God. They're just like, please treat her right. I need a lady to take him out of here. Because again, you said 30 grand in debt when he lives at home. How bad is he fucking up? Where he's like, Mom, Dad, I was saving up to get my own place. But then I invested it in crypto and a bunch of credit card money. And now this NFT of Snoopy is worth fucking nothing. I'm sorry, Mom and Dad. I'm going to be living here for another 5 years at least.
He probably did do like a multi-level marketing, or maybe he got ripped off by Jen Shaw from Real Housewives of Salt Lake City.
Real Housewives,
Yeah,
drop
could
it.
be.
Yes.
Could be.
Just saying.
Getting ripped off by a celebrity is the closest thing this man will ever have to success. He's a fucking sad guy, man.
Him
I
and
feel
me
bad
both.
for
I
him.
think it's okay for her to be single on this one. I think she can pass and get back
Yeah,
out there.
27? Like, come
Yeah,
on.
it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
What are
to
we-
be
Pretty rough, dude.
single.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, okay, all right. So any more final advice for her?
Leave him.
Leave him. Yeah. Leave him.
Like, if he gets the shit back, it's it's that cliche. You love something, you set it free, right? Maybe he goes and gets all his shit, comes back, and he's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell him that he needs to get his stuff together and work on him for a little bit.
Stay
That's
fat,
true.
though,
I feel
brother.
like you just,
Stay fat.
to use another 80s movie, I feel like you just described the plot of Big. When she first sees him, he's a 12.
I'll bet this guy
she's
is pretty
like-
big, though. I'll bet
She's
he is
like,
pretty
whoa,
big.
I can't. I mean, and then he gets big, and she's like, yeah, give me that dong now.
I mean, I thought you were literally hung like a 12-year-old since you're 12, but now, you know what I mean? Now you're hung like a 28-year-old skinny dude. You know what I mean? Like, this is gonna be cool. This is gonna be. I kind of like you all of a sudden.
It is
And
where
you
they
have good
have
credit?
sex in the
This rocks.
movie. Anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
What's your final advice?
My final advice to her is, well, the obvious advice is leave him, but I guess I have two pieces of advice other than leave him. A, if you're going to stay with him, get better at writing people's good qualities. I feel like we just got a long list of bads. But I still kind of like him. It's like you just described everything about this man's personality and physicality and lifestyle. Like you just described him all of, like, what the fuck else? It's got to be good dick game. I mean, we would hope. You know what I mean? At this point, he's got to have something redeeming. Or, I guess this could be sort of like buying stocks in Facebook while Zuckerberg was just trying to get loans in his dorm room. You know, like maybe you just buy in early, and to where it's now you're going to be kind of like a trophy wife later, but like you don't get treated like a trophy wife. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's like I fucked you when you were a fat Christian loser. You know, and now you get to be treated decent
Who
by
was
a rich
that
guy.
kid that was in Harry Potter that when, they were little kids? Yeah, he was kind of like a chubby little kid, and then he got hot.
Oh, the
It's
fifth
like
guy,
he's
yeah.
called like
I know.
like Neil or something like that. Anyway,
I know. I mean, I've never seen Harry Potter because they came out with a grown-up version of that called Game of
see,
Thrones.
this
So it's
is
like, I
why
don't
we
give a
just
fuck
keep
with this.
using 80. I tried to use
Yeah.
something at least
It-
from the
yeah.
90s, and you people are blanking on me.
Yeah.
No,
I mean, I only like J.K. Rowling
his
for her
name was
political
like
views. I don't
Dudley
know.
or something. That's actually
Yeah,
his name
yeah,
too.
yeah.
Dudley. Dudley even sounds like
But
a dumb fat
he's
name.
like he's like one that classically is like as a
you
little
know what?
kid he
Like
was.
this is the issue. Like who's walking around being like, these kids are hot. These kids are real hot. They're ugly as adults, but they're hot kids.
There's actually, I could just read you a few police reports.
Yeah. Why do you think House of Cards isn't happening anymore? That's right. It happens.
Never mind. I shouldn't. You never know who's listening.
But yeah. Well, I think we answered that question.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We helped her.
Next question on the Love Gurus podcast.
right.
People, write your questions into the Love Gurus podcast at yahoo.com. Oh, Matt on YouTube says, if it comes back, it has herpes. Oh, because Joel just said, at the Love Gurus podcast, if you love someone, set them free. If they come back, that means no one else wanted them either. That's right. That's right.
You know, Matt, I'm just saying, it's like if you don't have herpes, you weren't invited to the party.
That's right. That's right. It's just a little bumpsky poo. Who gives a shit? Matt on YouTube says,
I don't have herpes, by the way.
Yeah, me neither. Me neither. Fake news. Fake news.
Like, well, you didn't want to tell that story, but you
Anyone
really
who says
got
I do is lying. Goddamn lying. Russian misinformation, I say. Get him Cheese of the Month Club and then break up. Matt on YouTube says Jan Michael Vincent. Is that the Harry Potter one you mean? Is Jan Michael Vincent?
Maybe. I'll have to Google it.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'll Google that.
I'll bet that kid grew into a hot adult, by God. Next question on the Love Gurus podcast.
Next question. Boyfriend had a business trip with his female boss. I'm 27 and my boyfriend's 29. Long story short, last week my boyfriend went on a business trip to Hawaii. I was aware of this since the beginning of the month, and he said that it was an important project. He's been there since Friday, and we got into a fight last night because he called me to say that they were going to go to dinner and then see the sunset afterward. And I was like, with who? And he's like, Emma, his boss. This sounds more like a date to me. Things escalated to the point where he told me that they were staying in the same suite together, but separate rooms. Later on, I texted him explaining that I felt upset because they had an unlimited budget for the trip, and why wasn't he staying in a separate room? Turns out the job was canceled, but Emma, his boss, wanted to go anyway, and so they went together. She paid for everything and said it was to celebrate his anniversary at the job. They did some work, but I suppose remotely, to justify some expenses, but I was obviously infuriated. He said that it was more of a vacation than a work trip, but he didn't know until they were about to leave. I told him that the trip felt like a sugar mama pays for everything, and he knew and just went along with it and never
Works for
said
a sugar mama.
anything. I'm upset, hurt, and so pissed that I want to break up with him, but every single time he goes on a trip with her, I'm going to be overthinking, and that's not the way of living for me. He was just like, what the fuck? I do respect you. She's my boss. Do I have a reason to be mad? How should I handle? So to give a quick synopsis, so these two people are dating. He was supposed to go on a business trip to Hawaii, gets almost to the trip, and I guess whatever project got canceled, and the boss is like, well, let's just go to Hawaii anyway.
Hang out on the beach.
We'll just stay in the same hotel suite. And,
Barely wearing
it'll be
nothing.
Fine. And
They fucking.
And
Why wasn't she invited? If it's unlimited budget, she should have been invited. That's a huge.
Yeah.
And how
Good
old
point.
is the boss? And what is
20,
his project?
Yeah.
No,
29 is
he's
the
29,
boss.
but how old is the
Man.
Oh,
boss?
he's 27.
She's 27, and the
she-
girlfriend's
oh, is that
27,
what it
and he's 29.
Correct. Yeah. She's
the
the
boss
person
is
running
the
across
same
is 20.
skills.
Yeah, the boyfriend's
Gotcha.
20. We don't. But
40
yeah,
that's the 40s
the
right
the age of the boss is, I think, a very relevant point, because is
Yes.
the boss, 78? Is the boss 33? I mean, those
Sure.
are not
course.
to. I'm not age shaming.
No, but
I'm not saying one is better than the other.
You're also thinking with your lady brain. Dudes don't matter. 30,
Yeah.
70.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the best part
Fair
about
enough.
like dating when I was in my 30s.
Right.
Because literally the range was
18
great. To 70.
Yeah. It was
I
wild.
don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like, you want to take me to Hawaii? Oh, it's a work trip. They both knew work was canceled
Right.
before they got on that plane.
Well, but here's
100%.
Here's the thing that
They call that the Ashton Kutcher algorithm.
Yeah.
18 to 70.
But here's the thing that I almost want to believe that there is some again, I don't think it's the full story, but I think that there's maybe some legitimacy to the fact that the project was canceled, just because let's say that, okay, yeah, project got canceled. They're going to have to tell everyone at their job that they're going on this trip together. You know, like they're going to have to like say, oh, we're going on vacation. They're going to have to like give notice, or not notice, but you know what I mean? Like say we're going on vacation, like put in their PTO. So then, you know, that would raise a red flag, obviously, because like if she's the boss, he's the employee, you guys are fucking going up. You know what I mean? So I think there has to be some legitimacy to the work trip idea. But he obviously didn't give a shit, because why would you just turn down a free trip to Hawaii?
No, I definitely could see that side of it. If like this could very well be a legit reason, and I wouldn't turn it down either if it was just sort of like, I have a free trip to Hawaii. I'm going with my boss. Her name's Carla. Who gives a shit? You know, and if I wasn't doing anything, if I truly wasn't doing anything, then I wouldn't feel guilty.
Carla. Sorry,
that's right. Carla sounds like a lady who would fuck her employee who's married.
Don't you talk about my friend's
Boo,
mom
Carla.
like that?
Boo, your friend's mom sucks. She's
Carla's
a homebreaker.
hot.
You know what I feel like? I feel like if I wonder, and I don't know if it says it in there, but I wonder if he was like, before he left, was like, work's canceled, but we're going anyway.
Right.
That it does. So from reading the question, it does not sound like that was communicated to the girlfriend before. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
So they fucking. If he would have been like, "Yo, babe, it turns out this trip's canceled, but the boss still wants to take me because I've been doing a good job," and if you're like open about it and honest, it feels less like they're fucking. Yeah. But if you find out because the girl's like pushing and she's like, "What the fuck's going on with you?" Yeah. And then you're like, you feel guilty and you're like almost like, "Oh." She's gonna find out that work was actually canceled.
Yeah, but
I'm gonna tell her.
But also, okay, it does. I'm not saying. I think that she does have a reason to be pissed. However, just basically how she wrote the question, though, I do feel like she is maybe one of those people that kicks off a little prematurely sometimes. Again, I think she's definitely got some justification in this. So I think that
she's got DA.
I think that there's that true. But I think that he knew that if he said that before he got on the airplane,
she wouldn't let it.
That she wouldn't let it. She would be, you know.
It's better. It's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission. That's this guy's whole mentality right now. Yeah.
She would put a bomb on the bus with 30 other passengers, and she'd circle the airport with the bomb.
Take it down like Pablo Escobar.
And not let them take off until Sandra Bullock.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I love that's another movie reference.
Jake,
is that
you might
from
be in trouble. What's
90s?
that last thing say?
Oh, shit. Yeah. Let me, okay, apparently I'm in trouble on one of these last questions. Let me get caught up on some questions here. Let's see.
I just saw what Jake ? I was like, hey.
You would still go on to yeah. This podcast has come so close to ending my marriage. It's not a good podcast until you know how like in Game of Thrones they say it's not a Dothraki wedding until 3 people have been killed. Yeah. It's kind of like that with podcasts. You know what I mean? If I haven't risked divorce 3 times on a podcast,
there is another side to it. Is I told my old lady, I'm going on this relationship advice podcast.
Yeah.
And I'm not. I don't want to be crass. She fucked the shit out of me.
Yeah, dude.
I think she's kind of like she's like say good things about me. I was like I gotta go, babe. She's like, not yet.
You're going on there happy with empty balls. Yeah.
I cannot stand when younger guys call their lady the old lady or the old ball and chain. That's why I made a face. I was like, old lady.
Thank you for calling me young.
I was like, my old ball and chain said.
You know, I feel weird. It's because I have so many gay and queer friends. I feel weird saying partner because I feel like I'm culturally appropriating
It's weird when
a term.
straight people do it. It feels like they're trying too hard. Yeah.
But then I feel like she's an adult and I'm an adult. It feels weird saying girlfriend.
I do say man friend for mine.
Ooh, man friend I like.
Than I am. So I say my man friend.
Juicy.
And I was like, I like he might be tuning in as well. Hello. Don't go on any trips.
I do say old lady when talking about my wife because she is technically a couple years older than me. However, thanks to booze and White Claws and horrible genetics, I've aged bad enough that I look like I could be her uncle. That's the move, man. You got to date somebody hotter and older. You know what I mean? Because then you date somebody who's A, out of your league, and B, your credit score goes up when you marry them. It's the fucking move. It's the best of both worlds.
He does call me his young gal. I like that. Now, I will say, I feel like I would be one to pop off on this. Like when you're like, she's got a little, I feel like I look a little saucy, a little spicy.
Okay, here. And
go ahead, sorry.
You would get
just
saucy.
spicy. Even my
Just
arm went in the air with
spicy.
that one. Like
She's
it's
like, where's
just.
your purse? I know there's a knife in there.
It's just there's some mace though, hot pink mace, and there's just many holes in this story. Like I wonder how long they've been together. Like this just seems like because it's
True.
like what are they doing?
That's
all
a good
day
point. That is a good point.
together?
And
Like the sunset, yes, you're like, oh, you want to go watch the
You're in
sunset?
Hawaii.
Great,
Yeah, that's fine.
But it's something.
how long
I
how long they've been dating together? That is a huge thing that she skipped over, and I'm glad you pointed that out. I like to point out at least once an episode. When they give a lot of details, but they skip over things that seem very important, I like to err against the person writing the questions for two reasons. A, they're on Reddit and they're animals. B,
Fair.
if this every one of these questions is a source by, for, and about them. It's their MSNBC, their Fox News, their North Korean state-run news if they own the whole country, right? So when they leave important details out, like how long have we been together? Like, oh, if I mentioned it was only 3 months, 6 months or whatever, and I'm
I'm
getting
not
this
gonna
controlling,
tell.
I seem like a fucking controlling psycho. So I'm going to breeze right over that. When they leave out the details, I have to think it's because it would make them look like shit.
Or if she's, and not to go with the age, but true, if she's older and married and it's more like
Yeah.
a mother figure, I know that's like maybe sounds naive,
Sure.
but then that's like a big thing too, you know?
Yeah.
Like just,
I also got to think this dude's kind of like an idiot.
Yeah.
Because first of all, you know,
He should never admit
honestly,
that it was canceled.
Honestly, no. I mean, I would have been like, work got canceled. We got some other shit done. I'd
Right.
say that when I got home. Secondly, maybe like, yeah, we went to dinner. We had some drinks afterwards. We went and watched the sunset. What the fuck is wrong with you? Why are you telling her that?
He's his own informant. It's fucking crazy.
It's true.
Yeah.
And if you put it on the internet, he'd be like, "Oh, I'm in Hawaii. Isn't this place beautiful? I miss my
Yeah.
girl."
Well, but okay.
It's almost like he's got a little sock puppet fucking district attorney on his hand going,
Yeah.
"Man, he was watching the sunset. Convict him."
But again, I think that it's, you know, people that are so obsessed with social media and posting about it. We're all like such whores for likes that he wanted to post this sunset picture because he get a shit ton of likes. So he told her about it because it's like, well, she's gonna find out either via me or Instagram anyway. But I am not giving up those likes. I'm not
Right.
giving up that.
Did he post a picture of the sunset?
Yeah,
No,
I
we're
assume
kind of
so.
assuming,
Yeah, we're assuming so.
or he just
But that's what I'm
outright
saying,
said
like,
it. Yeah. How did she know about the sunset?
Yeah.
Okay.
I love the idea of him texting his girlfriend, just watching the sunset with my lady boss.
Yeah.
You know, just looking at
I'm
it.
Yeah.
curious what they do for a living that they take these trips and
To
projects
Hawaii, and then
like,
they
what
have
is
enough
it?
money. Yeah, they have enough money that it gets canceled, and they don't just get the next flight back.
Oh,
And they stay
man.
in the suite, like, well,
So that, yeah, okay.
Dude,
Again,
I
like,
think it's a whole chain of command thing. I think she's banging their boss. You know what I mean? Like his boss's boss, right? And then she, she's also banging the younger one because it's like,
fucking love Jake Bever so
yeah,
fucking
yeah,
much.
dude. I'm okay, but I love you too, man. So she's banging
I
the boss.
just listened to you talk
and
for
she's like, the look of this guy's eyes when he's banging me, like the look of like I'm taking advantage of my position. I wish I had that. I know. On this thing that I banged him to get, I'm going to bring my younger, hotter dude apprentice, and I'm going to bang him, and I'm not going to tell the boss's boss about this.
He's just a pawn in her scheme for
Yes.
revenge.
Yes.
It's like
she's using him to get back at the boss's boss.
Have you ever seen a human centipede?
Yes.
It's that. But
like a corporate
with their,
version
but
of
with
that.
their wieners.
Yeah.
I am lost on all the movies. I'm missing
It's
my
like-
movie reference.
instead of-
I'm
Centipede,
like,
don't
what's
ever
that?
see.
I haven't
Yeah,
seen
It's
it.
do
the
not
set
see
ass
Human
to mouth
Centipede.
shit.
However, the South Park episode about it was amazing.
Yeah, that's that.
yeah.
You could watch that instead of watching Human
It's
Centipede.
pretty good. Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm way behind on
Oh, shit.
these and one of them might possibly maybe
Ruin your
maybe
marriage.
there may be a thing. So Amy on YouTube, producer Amy, shout out to Amy.
Yeah.
She says every single time I go on a trip with her, how many trips are there?
Yeah, good point,
Exactly.
Amy.
Joel
Yeah.
on YouTube says exactly. Amy on YouTube says, producer Amy says, "Don't worry, honey. There's a work trip only 6 days out of the week." Joel says, "At Amy, there'd better be a 6-figure salary and no prenup." Man on YouTube says, "Go for the boss. Drop Clay Matthews." Man on YouTube says, "The project was an ultrasound."
funny.
He says Hawaii is pro-life. Oh, yeah, don't knock her up in Hawaii. Joel on YouTube says, "At Matt," or in this case, procreation. Amy says, "What, Jake? You would still go on the trip?" Okay, sure. You would go on that trip. And then an angry smiley face. It's like a Joker smiley face little emoji she put in there. And Joel on YouTube says, "Don't spill your drinks on the couch, please. Jake will be sleeping on there tonight."
He might be.
Yes, I'm canceling myself with this fucking podcast. Matt on YouTube says, "The boss is late. No, she is here. No, don't understand Damien." Matt says, "Who are you, Lee Marvin, in a biker film, old lady?"
You want to hear a crazy? You want to hear a crazy factoid about Jericho?
Oh yeah.
I used to have sexual relations with Lee Marvin's granddaughter.
What?
In Lee Marvin's house.
Really?
It was fucking sick.
What?
Wow.
Pull up a picture of Lee Marvin. He was a famous actor in the 70s. You'll recognize him in a heartbeat. He was in a million things. The Great Escape.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fucking, he was in a bunch of things. But he had passed away. But his granddaughter, had access to his house, which was just like pimped out 70s in the desert, Tucson, Arizona, like wild shit.
Dude, that rocks.
Oh, he's a handsome man.
Yeah.
Oh, is that a young Lee Harvey?
And you had access
Yeah.
to her
These
pussy.
are all older.
Yeah, but
yeah.
like,
Oh, yeah,
there was like
yeah,
a
he's the man.
sauna in there and a
Oh, I
pool,
love it.
tennis courts. It was
I
it
love
was
it.
wild. Little
Yeah.
factoid about
Yeah.
me.
Wow, look at you.
I hope no one who wasn't supposed to know that fucking is listening to this. But
Dude,
The-
did
Good
she
times.
have
The chances are you're probably okay.
did she have the premature, completely white Bill Clinton hair that still somehow looked good?
no,
Like Lee
I
Marvin?
wish.
Ah,
I wish.
yeah.
Oh man, it was great. But it was like a weird the 70s.
that's
like,
awesome.
It was cool shit.
His house is like surprisingly Googleable.
Yeah, it was
wow.
for
Yeah.
sale. It was for sale
bring-
for a
does
while.
Is it?
Bring back
Is
memories?
it? Is it this?
That's the one.
Oh wow!
Oh my goodness.
Let me see
dude,
if I
that's
can find the.
awesome.
Let me see if I
Wait,
can
let me
find
see-
the
let me
room
see.
where you guys had sex. In.
Yeah.
Okay, just kidding.
There were a couple of them. There were a couple of them.
So when you were banging Lee Marvin's granddaughter in his house, did you see pictures of Lee Marvin on the wall just seem to be glaring at you? Like
he had
that?
a
Like-
room. He had
Oh, look! Here's the sauna that you've had sex in.
So
What?
great.
What
So
is that?
I
badass.
can't believe there's all these pictures
Wait,
of the house.
is that the real one? Did it
That's
look like
that's
that?
100% the
Holy
one.
shit!
Oh my God.
That's
like
awesome.
his house was like very easily.
No, because it was for
Googleable.
sale a
Yeah.
while ago, so I don't know if
love
they
a
sold
sauna.
it.
Dude, I
he had this,
barely
like-
I'll
seen.
send you the listing.
They had like a man cave, and in the man cave thing, whatever you call it, like there was a house adjacent to the house, but it had like one of those old school big projector TVs. It had like
yeah.
marlins that he had caught stuffed on the wall and shit.
Wow.
But they're all just movie posters of his movies. He's
Yeah.
fucking super famous.
Yeah.
Oh, he's been in fucking
Yeah.
probably like 100 at least.
So but it, like literally, like you look up and like there's the poster
Watching
for
you.
fucking Helen Iwo
"What are you
Jima. What the
doing?"
fuck that movie was called that I fucking love.
Yeah.
It's a western where he's like got his hand on the fucking revolver
And
and
just
just
staring at
staring
me.
right at the camera. Like, oh, Lee, I didn't know she was related to you, Lee. I didn't realize you bounced her on your knee, Lee. I didn't know. I didn't know.
I bounced her too, you know.
Dude, great horror movie. Jericho unknowingly fucks Lee Marvin's granddaughter in his house.
Wait, are you
but
saying
then things start moving around, and he
Are you
realizes
saying-
Lee Marvin's still there, and it keeps Lee Marvin is slowly like chasing him, like sort of paranormal activity, like.
Are
But
you
he's
saying
angry.
horror or horror?
Horror.
It's gonna be rated X. Yeah. It's gonna be a little bit of cross genre. A little bit of cross genre. Sort of like Burt Reynolds in Boogie Nights, where he's like, "I'm gonna make a porn that gets an Oscar someday," and he's like, "No, porn ends up going the other way. I'm bringing it back. I'm bringing
I
it
love
back." Burt Reynolds' character in Boogie Nights. We're making this happen.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get an Oscar for this Jericho and Lee Marvin's granddaughter
Yeah.
porn. It's gonna be awesome.
So, trying to rope it back round to the question.
A fucking professional. That's what we in the biz
circle
we
back
call a
here.
professional.
Dude, I cannot do this podcast.
I mean, that's
without
a
Suzanne.
that's a
I had
tough,
no idea what was
that's
going
a
on.
tou-
just now.
it's a tough one to really draw a line back. But let's just so since we have really kind of discussed this, I think I'm going to give my final advice to this question is that listen, it kind of, in my humble opinion, it kind of doesn't matter if he fucked his boss or not. He probably did, but
Yeah.
even if he did or did not, you can't fucking deal with it. You can't handle the truth.
That's
okay,
right.
so
That's
like,
right.
just break up with him and like. You need to find a new
Right. You
relationship
can't
where
handle the truth.
you can be comfortable with that. At this point, what they did is completely irrelevant. Like, you're out.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
You can't handle the truth, just like Jack Nicholson said. You know, and he'll say, sometimes we all fuck our bosses.
We
you know, Sometimes we're single, sometimes we're dating a lady. You don't turn down the chance to fuck your boss in a while.
Breakfast 30 feet from Cubans that want to bomb us while the Mexicans.
She's mixing up her wars. She
That's
thinks
two
she's in the
different-
War of 1812. She thinks he's
No,
got
I
that
know
little
it's
tiny head.
I know it's not. I don't know. I couldn't. I think I was gonna
My
say
boss is a
something. that was
50-year-old
wrong.
Jewish man. I don't want to fuck him. I don't want to fuck him.
It's the principle of the matter. You don't know until you try it, Jericho. Not every Lee can be Lee Marvin's granddaughter in his own house.
We don't even know her name. She's just Lee Marvin's granddaughter.
It's better that way.
I think we should not. I
Yeah,
think we
it's
should
better
Reveal
not.
that
her
way.
name.
Yeah.
No,
Oh.
we've revealed too much. I also like how you talked about yourself in the third person. I got a
Dude.
little Jericho story from. I'm like, who's Jericho again? Oh, it's you. No, I'm kidding.
You've given me like new dreams for my son. I want my son to grow up to fuck Lee Marvin's granddaughter someday. That's my goal for him.
All right. What other final advice do we have for this question? God,
I liked how you ended it. I think that's a really strong point. If you can't, like, if regardless of what happens, if she's not comfortable with it, that's what she has to examine,
Yeah.
and that's okay. I like that very much, Suzanne. Well done.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. What I think she should do is
Fuck her boss.
it's you could either do that. You know, you could fight fire with fire.
Fuck.
You know what I mean?
Fuck
You could-
Emma.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
She needs to fuck Emma.
Right,
Fuck
and it
his
doesn't even matter
boss?
where.
Yeah, his boss.
Spicy.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah.
Booey cow,
And then,
yeah.
and then she
Yeah.
goes. Then she goes back and like, I tasted your
Yeah.
dick in her vagina.
Uh-huh.
I know you guys had sex.
He walks in and they're
That
scissoring
is
each other.
from
He's like, this
a movie
triangle's
as well.
collapsing on itself.
That
It's
is
what?
from Vanilla Sky. When you suck his,
Oh.
doesn't it taste like me
Yeah.
or something?
Does it
Isn't
Vanilla
That
sounds-
Sky?
Is that Vanilla Sky?
Vanilla
When you-
Sky's one with
The
Tom
Tom
Cruise,
Cruise.
Penelope Cruz,
Yeah.
and
They do a
I
line
can't
like
remember who
that?
the third one is.
Or was that
No.
Cameron Diaz?
Cameron Diaz.
Oh,
She remember
oh.
she was
Says
the
that.
girl.
Yeah,
Oh,
maybe
yeah,
from
yeah.
Closer.
That's right. I forgot
Closer
she's the one that crashes the
Closer
car.
it was one of my
Yeah.
favorite lines in any movie ever.
Uh-huh.
Like your, how does cum taste? Like
right.
yours, only sweeter.
That's what it was
Ooh.
from. That
Yeah.
was such a good
Vicious
movie.
line.
That
What a
movie,
What a
that
movie.
I coincidentally I just rewatched Closer, like not like probably like a couple weeks ago, and that movie, I mean, just makes you want to
vicious.
walk off a bridge.
It just makes you never. It wanted to make you be celibate for the rest of your
yes,
life.
Yeah.
celibate,
Really-
Like,
Fuck
single.
everyone.
Very well acted.
Dude,
Yeah.
it's weird
Yeah.
that she shamed him on the taste of his jizz. You know, like,
Yeah.
that's a
How-
weird.
We
That's
did
just so
everything that people who have sex do.
Yeah.
It's like if some lady tried to throw that at me, I'd be like, "Do you know who you're talking to? The terrible taste of my jizz is like the 11th shittiest thing about me. Like, what are you talking about? I'm a man riddled with character flaws and other things.
Did
Like,
you
what do
watch Sex in the City? Anybody?
Yeah, I did.
He had the funkiest tasting spunk. That's my Samantha. I love it.
I will not be spunk shamed by
Great
you, madam.
impression.
Good day.
Great
Meanwhile,
impression.
downtown.
Is that lavender?
Yeah.
What the hell is that?
Yeah, she gets him to try and like make him eat like wheatgrass and stuff.
Oh, weird. I heard pineapple's what does it.
Yeah, if you're a swinger, okay.
The pineapple juice.
I did
Pineapple.
one time. She was like, I was arguing with a woman and she was talking about my drinking
Sure.
and she's like, your cum tastes like fucking whiskey.
Oh, here you
Oh.
go.
And I was like,
We call that a cocktail. What?
Jake Pepper, ladies and gentlemen.
That was really good. I think that should be our next question. What happens when his cum tastes like whiskey? What should I do? He's drinking too much. Do I have an intervention?
Shake and not stir. Yeah.
I'm 28. I'm dating a 43-year-old unsuccessful comedian with a drinking problem.
What should I? My friends call him a loser.
friends
What should
call
I
him
do?
a loser.
No, I'm teasing.
He's $65,000 in debt.
Every time I blow him, I can't drive my car home for 3 hours legally.
I don't understand.
It's 80 fucking proof.
Honestly, like I don't understand who's keeping the cum in your mouth for a long time and like swirling it around.
Yeah, who's doing like the
fucking
jizz
wine?
Somalia?
Hey.
What are you talking
Hey.
about?
The ladies I fuck around with, that's who. Okay, God damn it.
Fair enough. But it's like it's either it's a very quick transaction no matter what you're doing. And so who is like, it's like gargling.
Hey, if you
like,
love someone,
what
you
the
love
fuck are you
all of them,
talking
okay?
about?
She's obviously not a whiskey drinker, though.
Yeah, it's like who's like
Whiskey gotta taste good.
yeah, who's shaking her head back and forth, seeing what the legs on it are like. You know what I mean? Like
This guy.
the legs on it.
She's a vodka soda. She's like, oh my god, I gotta spit this in bubbles first. I gotta spit this in seltzer. I gotta make that.
Yeah.
Great.
So Matt on YouTube
Okay.
says Lee Marvin's tackled you for crossing his lawn. That was not his granddaughter, and definitely was not sex. Joel on YouTube says, Suzanne, that was a really good Jack Nicholson. You're no Lee Marvin though. Matt says Clint Eastwood and Dwayne The Rock Johnson and Von Miller are all children of Lee Marvin. Family ties.
Hell yeah.
Matt on YouTube says nobody can do a good Lee Marvin, Joel. He says, at Matt, true, you can do his granddaughter, though. Matt says,
Wasn't that
Joel,
hard.
he never gave in to Pauly Shore's house. Yeah. I never got into Pauly Shore's house. Sorry, I couldn't read that good.
Yeah.
Oh man, but yeah, I mean, my final advice for her is if you're not gonna fuck your boss, because that would be cool too, is to fuck your boss, but even they're in a shitty location. She's sending off pictures of the ocean. You know what I mean? Like they're watching the sunrise together. It's like, oh yeah, I watched the sunrise with Gary over at Home Depot.
I was going to say Home
At the
Depot.
Jews-
I
yeah.
was going to say Home Depot.
Right. Yeah.
I was right
Bam.
there.
Home
Boom.
Depot. Home Depot. Right next to the Jersey Shore. There it is. Right there on the East River, whatever the fuck. Just take a picture of some body of water. A creek, whatever you call it. And then, wherever part of the country at, whether it's a creek or a creek, you just take a picture and be like, I looked at this with my boss. Fuck off, you know? Or, go fuck Lee Marvin's granddaughter, because that's a way better story than the one you wrote. You know what I mean? So find a way to fuck Lee Marvin's granddaughter, and then tell us about it. You know, that's my advice to her.
Okay.
I'm like, what's the next question?
All right, next question
I think.
on the Love Gurus
Well, and then
podcast.
also just based on the time. I mean, really, we because we've been chatty Cathy, so I think this is going to be the last question.
Last one. We're going with 3 or 4.
Let's do 3.
3 it is.
Yeah.
Last question on the Love Gurus podcast. People, if you got any questions to give us, write them into Love Gurus podcast at yahoo.com, or even better, write us live on YouTube every Thursday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Give us your questions, give us your comments live. We're going to take our last one from the Wild Animals on Reddit.
Before I read the last question, I just want to disclose that my dad actually lives in Tucson, and he lives a 12-minute drive from said house.
Your dad?
My dad, yeah.
Your dad lives in a nice neighborhood.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So I'm gonna tell him. I'm gonna tell him about said house, and maybe not the granddaughter, but if the mom's still around.
I was going to say, this could be like a
daughter.
multi-generational thing. It could be... It could be like a Game of Thrones thing.
My,
We're slowly tying ties to Lee Marvin's
You were
family.
ordering an Uber, and I was like, "Do we have one more question?" I
She's
was
like,
looking
"Wait,
over
we're
your
in the middle
shoulder,
of a
and I was
podcast."
very confused. I was like, "Oh, are we wrapping up?"
I know, because she was.
And
You were doing this like she knew, and I'm like, there's no way she knows my dad lives in Tucson.
so I was like, "Oh, she's got her Uber out. We're gonna wrap it up real quick."
No. I was just curious where it was in relation to my dad's house. So, but
My God, my dad Lee is in Lee Marvin's house. He's fucking his mother. That's crazy.
yeah,
I love that part of town.
yeah. I mean, I've actually. I don't even think I've never been there actually. I went to visit him when he lived in a different house, but yeah. Anyway, but I mean Tucson's great. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
Anyway, but yeah.
I'm going
Let's
to binge Lee Marvin movies and laugh my ass off this weekend.
Just think about me.
I feel like I have so many dating questions. You know, stuff that has come up that you're like just dating questions over the years that you're like, what do you think about this?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so many. We do as ladies. So many.
It's just, I mean, because that's what you do with your girlfriends. Like, you get together and talk about dating, and like,
100%.
I've actually had not a lot, but friends. It's like they get married, and it's kind of like, if it's a strong friendship, it maintains. But if, your friendship was only based on dating, like, it fizzles out after they get married. And you're like, oh, actually, maybe you were kind of a bitch anyway.
See, that's why it's better to have dude friends than lady friends, because we just talk about fucking Lee Marvin's granddaughter.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like, it's a way, it's a way more fun conversation.
Sorry, let's just take a poll on the subway where a man is masturbating on people. Like,
ask him for advice.
Is it better to be friends with men or women? Oh, don't take into consideration this guy's chode that you can see.
I watched. I was on the subway and I saw a dude blowing another dude.
Yeah.
On the subway.
It was on the platform. They were on the platform, sitting on the bench though, on the platform.
Yeah. Oh.
And obviously I tried to not look, and then I just looked, and what I was so impressed with was the piece on the dude.
Sure.
Yeah. Sure.
It was like a fucking 80-year-old homeless man and a 60-year-old also homeless man.
Right.
But the piece on the dude getting the blowjob, I had to do a double take. It was it was a foot long. It was a $5 foot long.
I mean, you don't pull it out in public unless you're either A, really drunk, or B, got a nice one.
That reminds me.
That's my rule of
It
thumb.
reminds me of this scene in Philadelphia where Tom Hanks is dancing with Antonio Banderas.
Yeah.
I feel like that's where they're like slow dancing.
Four Tom Hanks references. If you're
There we
drinking
go.
at home, take
There
a
we go.
shot. That's
Oh,
four
yeah.
Tom Hanks. I love it.
I mean, that to me speaks romance.
And Philadelphia was a perfect reference because the guy doing the blowing was getting something. You know what I mean? There's going to be a sad Bruce Springsteen. He's getting sucked off on the stop on the N train. It's real late at night. Jericho's looking at the peas in the subway tracks on the N train.
What if they weren't even like lovers or just wanted to hook up? Like, what if they were best friends and he was just like, listen, I've got terminal cancer. No one's ever going to know how big my penis is. And the friend was like, look, let's go to the Broadway stop.
Yeah.
And you'll sit down and I'll suck your penis.
That's so much sweeter than what was actually going on.
Not because, dude, a lot of the homeless guys on the trains are kind of jerks. So I'll bet even if he said that, as soon as he finished, he'd be like, "Oh, I'm not dying of cancer, it's AIDS," ha ha, and then he'd run off. You know what I mean? Like, they're real jerks about that whole.
Yeah, but what do you think that guy's jizz tastes like?
Definitely not pineapples. I can tell you that.
I don't think he has a very healthy diet.
No, and the whiskey that his jizz tastes like, it tastes way worse than the whiskey that Jericho's jizz tastes like.
Mine at least comes out of a glass bottle, you know?
With a cork and everything, His is like a screw top. His is one of those that's like behind the counter at the liquor store.
It just says whiskey.
The whiskey brand whiskey. Yeah. And it's spelled funny.
Yeah.
Not even how you
There's no E.
What is it? Was that because of copyright, or was the guy who fucking made this thing so shitty and illiterate that he can't spell whiskey? Is this even whiskey? What is this? What the hell?
Yeah.
Rubbing alcohol and food coloring. I knew it. Yeah. Son of a bitch.
I mean, Rumpelstiltskin had to find a side hustle after the whole other
Tastes like a 60-year-old homeless man's dick, this whiskey. What is this?
Okay, let's answer this last question.
Last question on the Love Gurus podcast.
I'm not
Let's
sorry.
hear from the wild.
No, but that was, that was a great. I loved it.
Big visual.
I loved
Big
it.
visual.
100%. Last question from the Wild
visual.
Animals.
Large, 12-inch visual.
Yeah. My visual actually leaned to the right just a little bit. You know what I mean? Just kind of curved off a bit.
It was on the D train platform. That's all.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah. Last question on the Love Gurus podcast. Freaked out on my boyfriend's friends. I'm 29 and my boyfriend's 35. I caught my boyfriend talking to another girl on Thanksgiving Eve. I called the girl to figure out...
Thanksgiving Eve. What a nerd.
Yeah. I called the girl to figure out what was going on. Something I'd never do again if I'm ever in that situation. The girl exaggerated a lot of stuff about them and also was stalking me. I know she exaggerated or lied on stuff because later a lot of the stuff just didn't make sense or add up. And the more we spoke and the more she kept changing her story and her side... however, my boyfriend's side was always consistent. She claimed to know his friends and family. My boyfriend and I are now trying to move past this and work out our relationship. The problem is that my interaction that day was crazy, and I cursed out his friends because she claimed to know them, and I was hurt because I thought that we were friends and we got along well. This weekend, his friends are having an event, and he asked me if I wanted to go along with him. I agreed, but I feel nervous because I feel like I'd look stupid or scared or it'll be awkward. What do you guys think? How do I manage the situation?
It was a drunken Thanksgiving Eve. We all know that's the biggest drinking night
Like,
of the
yeah.
year when
It's
you're
literally
outside the city.
It's the second biggest drinking night besides New Year's Eve of the whole year.
Yeah.
Especially if you live not in a city.
Yeah.
Basically, if you go back
I go to
home.
Atlantic City every year for Thanksgiving, and that day, like the Tuesday, ghost town.
Really?
Nobody in town.
Oh, wow.
The next day, thousands and thousands of people.
Really?
And then the next day,
Really?
ghost town.
Really?
I love it.
So wait, you're saying Thanksgiving there's no one in town.
No, yeah, they all go back to
Yeah.
Philly or to like the shore wherever their families
Sure.
live.
Oh, they just go out in Atlantic City that
Yeah,
Wednesday.
and
On
it's
the
just like
Wednesday.
a crazy
Yeah.
party.
Bad.
No, yeah, downtown New York during like Thanksgiving, Christmas. Before I was in an actual relationship, I would just go out and get trashed because like everyone would be off during family stuff, and it was
Yes.
only those of us who had no love in our lives, and no one cared about us.
It was the only
And-
time it was any fun.
But in a good way, yeah. It was just sort of like
Yeah.
it was the city of lost toys, and it was fucking great, dude. We would just go around with our missing little button eyes and all our bullshit. But we're missing little arms, all the stuffing's coming out. It's fucking great, dude. We
Yeah.
would just get drunk and do bar shows and party.
She definitely overreacted with the friend. They were just
Yeah.
talking like she really and she. Well,
Well,
she's young, so that's
yeah.
sorry. Listen to me. She's young. As I scoop back,
Yeah.
get a pillow for my back.
So okay, yeah. So obviously, what happened was that she found out that he was talking to a girl. The other girl exaggerated what was going on, and then so what she's embarrassed about. It's her and her boyfriend sort of seem to be on some reconciliation tour, which let's also just remember that it's March 2nd. Oh, you guys have been working through this since fucking Thanksgiving? What are you talking about? Unless you're married with a kid that's got a special need, fucking break up. Are you... Anyway.
There better be a kid
that
that's so
to me
slow learning
is-
he can't even understand the concept of divorce. Like that,
to
you better
me
be
is
keeping
the
one of those
weirdest
together.
thing about this relationship is that they're not married, and it's like, oh, we're just gonna spend months working on this relationship, whatever. Anyway, but that being said, what she's embarrassed about is the fact that she freaked out on the friends because she accused them of not telling her that he was cheating, and now she's gonna see them again and have to be like, oh, hey, Brian. Hey, sorry, remember the last time I saw you? I called you a fucking cunt. Are we still bad?
I called you a cunt like a British person uses it to where it's kind
It's
of
like
fun
not that bad.
and cheeky.
It's not
I
that
think they say
bad.
cheeky. Yeah.
Did you
I was
cheat?
talking about soccer.
Well, excellent question. I didn't even think about that. It is
Fuck no, he
not
didn't.
clear.
Fuck no, he
It's
didn't.
not.
She just needs to do
Again,
a PR tour
She
on this
skipped
one.
over it.
Yeah.
Like I said, when they
And-
skip over important details, it didn't happen.
Well,
it
it
didn't
says
happen.
it says
Guarantee
that the other woman exaggerated what happened.
That means
but
no.
it's but he's saying she was saying the boyfriend story stayed consistent. Now, whatever that consistent story is not.
Once again,
Yeah.
holes in these questions. But
Yeah.
as someone who has gotten
Skipped right
drunk
over
and
it.
flipped out on people before, like I said, a little spicy. You got to do the PR tour. So you got to just go through and be like, yeah, sorry about that. Got a little drunk and just move
Yeah.
on and act
Yeah.
like it
Yeah.
didn't. You just address it, be like, hey, last time I saw you, sorry that happened. And then boom, and just address it, move on. And then don't.
100%.
What I can also
100%.
safely say is, because I've done the PR tour before, and what I can safely say is, probably 99% of the time, it's that person's like, oh yeah, whatever.
Yep. They don't
Oh,
really-
whatever.
Yeah, it didn't
I'm
ruin
not saying 100% of the time,
Depends on how bad the
but
freak out was.
most
Sure.
of the time,
Make a
it's- yeah.
joke about it. Be like, hey, you know what I called you last time? Not happening tonight. How we doing? Something
Yeah.
like you gotta
Yeah.
like butter it up, like
Yeah.
something like that.
If you think about it, yeah, man, it's she's looking at it like this is the friend of my significant other, and so that sort of has more weight to me than I have to them. You know what I mean? Like your friends' significant others, you could kind of give a shit about. You know what I mean? Like you don't want to. If you piss them off, You're more worried about like this is gonna piss off the friend. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't really give a shit about them. So if they flip out or whatever, it's not like now. Of course, there's levels to it, obviously. But
what if they're in his ear saying that she's a loser?
Oh, there's definitely some of that.
They're saying she's crazy behind her back. I mean,
100%.
that's a definite.
That's
if she freaked out, definitely.
Yeah. But if she's good looking, they're gonna be like, well, she's hot though, so stay with her. Like I'm sorry,
dude,
this is what I'm chalking up.
Crazy
to
chicks are freaks. Good shot. They're dabbing them up. They're like, she must be a wild woman in the sack.
But that is going to be. I mean, has anyone been to SantaCon at 5 p.m.? It's just people fighting and puking. It's like if you ever feel bad about yourself, just go.
Yeah.
I had a haircut, and so it was like I had a haircut. It was like 11 o'clock this year at SantaCon, and it's like. It was like a string of Santas drinking, the twisted tea. Yeah. I was like, okay, I get drinking in the morning. Okay, I'm not but what? You like twisted tea?
I do.
In my head, in my head, they had gone into the bodega and everything was sold out because it was SantaCon.
I had 4 fucking White Claws.
I know, I didn't want to say that. The bartender over he's had 4 White Claws. He, of course, he likes twisted. He's like, does anybody have Mike's Hard Lemonade? Anybody? Zima.
I thought it was like Zima.
I should like Zima.
Anyway, why are we okay? SantaCon.
You got a haircut?
Yeah, no, that's all I was gonna say is that like I get the drinking in the daytime, but I just didn't get the twisted tea part because I think that shit's disgusting. But yeah,
I haven't had one in a while. But that said, I did really appreciate Drunk Santa Day. My first few years here, and then eventually it was like, oh, it's fucking me up going to work, and so I didn't like it anymore. That said, I'm starting to like it again now that I have a kid. You know, because Christmas is going to be a big deal to him. That said, I'm broke. You know what I mean? I'm perpetually broke.
That's going to disturb him, though. Just thousands of drunk Santas.
Exactly.
Like, what is wrong with? Oh, I see.
Yes, you see where I'm going with this.
I see.
Not every year can Santa afford to stuff under every tree. And so I maybe I got to set little Jake up for a little bit of, I got to set his expectations.
Disappointment of being your son.
I know you wanted an Xbox 7. Yes, exactly. I've been trying to figure out how I'm going to do this. Now, I think Santa Claus is my cure. I'm going to be like, listen, I know you wanted an Xbox 7 with like 8 controllers or whatever they come with now. And I'm sure Santa will get it for you. However, Santa and all of his helpers are at the mall today. And the bar next to the mall. Let's go talk to Santa. And I'll be, oh my God, look at that. I mean, Santa must have had a rough divorce. I'll bet he's going to have a hard time driving the sleigh this year. And it's just that is going to be my way to set up letting him down. I'll be like, well, I know he didn't. I know it was an Xbox 3. Instead of
you ever like, I'm assuming, I know you're not from New York. I'm
not from New York.
Not from New York.
Pennsylvania.
You ever have that, I remember the first moment I had, it was the, first year I was here, I was like, oh, SantaCon, I've heard about this, let's go check it out. And I'm standing, I didn't dress up. I love night drinking. I love night drinking. I love all drinking.
Oh, yeah.
But I remember walking around and being like, fuck. I'm part of the problem. I'm the problem. Yeah. When they talk about it's me.
It really does. You look around, and I'm a pro drinking guy. I get drunk on this podcast on a weekly basis. You know what I mean? And so it's like, dude, I think you should drink while you're doing most things. That said, you look at SantaCon and you're like, oh, these people need to tone it the fuck down.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not Nancy Reagan by any fucking means, dude. Holy shit.
But what I will say about SantaCon is I genuinely, and I know that this sounds fucking bizarro, I genuinely don't think it's the drinking. I think it's people just having that I'm gonna get crazy mentality.
Yeah.
I think that there are people that have 2 twisted teas and then, eat someone's face off. It's just the atmosphere, the craziness, like that mob mentality. What's that when everyone thinks they have a disease, but it's just like in their fucking heads?
That was a Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Yes.
Bring it back to that.
It's just
Munchesters.
Yes,
Munchausen.
Yeah, Munchausen. That's what I would categorize SantaCon as. Don't get me wrong. Yes, there are those like drunk people. But I think it's just like Munchausen by proxy. Munchausen, like whatever. All of those things. It's just people like, it's gonna be crazy.
I've bartended in so many SantaCons, and the one year it was just
you've actually bartended in those? Oh my fucking
circle
god!
of puke with just an empty Fireball bottle. In front
It's
of it.
bad.
I was like, "Welcome to SantaCon, everybody!" Like, just
It's bad.
Yeah.
It's really bad.
I've gone into a few bars just to kind of like use the bathroom, like whatever. Try to grab a drink. I didn't even bother grabbing a drink because I'm like, the bartenders are so busy. You're gonna have to wait. But like, the floors are completely covered in what isn't just alcohol. You know, I mean, there's piss and vomit in there, and it's like. Do you remember in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas when he's tripping and he thinks
Where are the
everybody's
fucking golf shoes, man?
Where needs the fucking golf shoes? Yeah, I mean, the floor looks like that. It looks like, and it's just completely to where like no one's even bothering trying to clean this up. Like there's the floor is just slippery. People are slipping and falling in it. And it's just you have to like walk with your hand on the wall because you're like, dude. It's slippery. It's the ground was literally just covered in every bar I went into that was like that. Yeah, but you're saying you bartended entire. How many hours? Like how many hours were they actually in there? Because I know they do like a bar crawl thing.
If
right?
the bar was on it, they like come in the morning and they'll stay all day. What's funny though is if you work the night shift, if you get like a drunk Santa at 11 p.m. and you're like the lone drunk Santa, all his friends have gone home to Hoboken. He doesn't know where he is. He's gonna end up in the Bronx.
Shit.
Like, and then they're real messed up on that one.
The train, always the train on those days is a nightmare.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Train's bad.
But there's always couples fighting. What I came back to that is that couple.
I do like couples
That
fighting.
couple, I love watching couples fight. And then that, like a couple on SantaCon is like these two that were on Wednesday before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
They just went at it, and she just has to go over it, and she'll be okay, and she'll just move past it. It's fine. I actually love it when people flip out. Like I was with a friend and she flipped out on us in Nashville. I think she did a spew of like FUs to all of us. And really? Fine. You know, I'm the best person to do that to because the next day I was like, "Are we okay?
Yeah.
I just want to make sure." Like, and she was like, "I am so embarrassed." I was like, "Oh, we're good. Okay, great. Okay, moving along." And I was like, "It's fine."
Yeah.
Like I don't really, I don't. But
You don't
that's
like,
just-
let it
I don't
get into
really.
you.
It
Yeah.
happens. You know, it happens because things happen in your head.
I do. I
mixed-
love a
yeah.
public freak out too.
Public freakouts are good, you know? And that's all it takes is a little bit of acknowledgement, you know what I mean? And just a fun attitude about it and just sort of like apologizing, but in like a fun, funny way. That said, if she could do that, she wouldn't be such a nightmare to be around. She clearly is, man. Like that. That's why she's flipping out around
There was
the friends.
insecurity
That's why
before.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
There was
okay.
insecurity with that relationship, and she probably had a couple drinks. It sparked it, and it was already there.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
what brings it. Oh, I got deep, but that's
Yeah.
usually what
No, but I
happens.
think that that's
Yeah,
true,
but
and
you're right.
and so that is an excellent segue. So my final advice for this question is say the funny, you know, bubbly. Hey, by the way, remember that time I called you cunt? Who wins cheese? You know, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, say that, and then if it rolls, you know, if you can kind of band-aid the situation or heal the situation and it's fine, and you hang out with the friends and you're having a good time, then I think everything's fine. If it gets real fucking awkward, I would seriously consider, again, stopping this relationship because A, you guys have been working on it for the past like 78 months. B,
Right.
if you can't band-aid it over with his friends, they're going to be in his fucking ear saying, she's a fucking loser, stop hanging out with her.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, it's just too much of an uphill battle. You're 29. You're going to get over it. You're going to get over it.
100%.
I don't know. That's
Any
my
other final advice for her?
Quit being an asshole. Like, have fun at parties next time.
Yeah.
But you know what? Maybe she's justified in what she said. Like maybe he was having some shady
You know
behavior,
what?
and she's like, you know what? Or own it and be
Yeah.
like, yeah, that's right. Like you know, but just she
Yeah.
obviously feels bad about it.
Because I agree with you. I think that there's sorry not to cut you off, Jericho, but I think that there is some justification in what she said because you also, you know, because there's two sides of it. One, yeah, you don't want to be that person at the party that's freaking the fuck out, but you also don't want to be that person where everyone's like, oh my god, she's like so getting cheated on, and she's like not even saying it. She's like
Sure.
so dumb. Like you don't want to be that person either.
I feel like I approach everything like a PR person because
Yeah.
I'm a fucking monster in real life. But I'm like in the public eye and I want people to like me and buy my shit. Right.
Yeah.
So, but what I would do if I was her is I'd be like, okay, here's something I don't like or I don't feel comfortable with. Tomorrow, I'm going to talk to my boyfriend and talk to this friend and see what's going on. I'm not going to freak out in public. It's my manager brain, Like, I'm not going to yell at someone on the floor.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll pull you in the back and we'll talk after the shift and we'll try and figure it out. Because I always am like, my public persona has to be the fat, jolly guy that everyone likes hanging out with.
Right.
Yeah.
Not the person who's yelling because his girlfriend's doing lines of coke off the black dude's dick in the corner.
Sure.
Okay.
Wow,
Sure.
that got personal.
I like to make it about me at some point.
Curving a little bit to the left, not like a full-on Nike swish, but
Was it
just
like the
a
homeless
nice little
guy?
Cheeto.
It's
Nice
like
giant Cheeto.
it's like a little train turn.
I was most upset
She didn't
because
have to yell choo-choo while she was snorting. How is such a thing even possible?
Next up from
She
Kokomo.
did. She did, but at the end.
Yeah, but when she pronounced it, oh. Yeah, it was.
I was just upset because his dick was so big it was the whole bag of coke. It wasn't like doing key bumps. It was the whole bag.
Not only are you cucking me, you're making my girlfriend OD. What is this?
It's like a big old kielbasa. Yeah.
Kill is right. Kill is right. She's dead now. She's dead.
Oh man.
Line more like the whole goddamn set of crayons. Oh my god. The size of that fucking coke line.
Remember how fun cocaine was, guys?
Yeah, dude.
Oh, that was a long time ago.
Good times, good times. Now it's always
I've done it. No, this is part. I've never
Yeah,
done it in all my years.
I've never done cocaine because
Good for
I'm
you.
just so scared of like that I would
liking it.
Yeah.
That's why I haven't done
Yeah,
it.
Yeah,
I
it's real
just
fun
know
and easy to
myself,
like.
and I feel like I would just instantly be. I would go quickly from coke to give me crack.
Well, I
That's
can
a
do,
natural
yeah.
progression.
yeah, dude.
Well, that's like a cold
Hey.
brew gets me fired up, and I'm like, ooh,
I
something
think
did more
people
than that.
shit
then-
talk
yeah,
crack
I
too
just-
much. Am I right?
Agreed.
It's the same thing, just with baking soda, so you can smoke it easier.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like I just didn't. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
It's
That's
a
not the
slippery
point.
slope.
Yeah.
With that, yeah. So I've
Lee
just-
Marvin's granddaughter. You guys sound like Nancy Reagan's granddaughter. Jesus Christ, never even
It
once.
was funny. You guys
Never
both
even
looked at
once.
each other, and we both looked at each other. I haven't done that. That's just. Are you here with me on this?
It's not the time we tell our secrets.
Me and Jericho have done drugs they don't even talk about on Rogan, man.
Yeah, that's true.
It's wild. Yeah, I mean, I guess my final advice to her would be, you could either do the cool thing where you apologize to everybody and make fun jokes, but you're not a fun person. You're not cool. You kind of fucking suck. You gave us no details about any of this shit. That's why we know that almost all of this is your fault. I know it is, I can see you. I can see through your Reddit question into your soul. X-Men can't choose their superpowers. Mine is just knowing when people suck, and you suck. I can tell that through a Reddit question. So since you got to use your superpower to the best of your abilities, go out with the friends again. Wait until they're annoyed at a surfer or something, and then use your Karen power on them. Go Karen on the people that they hate. And you're like, okay, we'll just utilize her. She's the lady in this crew who we just fucking, we inflict her on people.
The enforcer.
She's the
She can
enforcer.
be the enforcer.
Yeah.
The
Excuse me, ma'am. These sheets have not been changed.
Yeah.
There's one in every group that you
That's
just
right.
send them off
Oh,
into the
That's
sunset.
right.
You're like,
There
take care of
definitely
this
is.
for us.
Yeah.
That's a good
I'm
point.
like, Sarah, you got this one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just sort of like, I think someone should talk to her manager, but I'm not a dick. Oh my God,
Excuse
Sarah!
me.
Sarah!
Our credit card has been charged twice.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did not have these drinks, okay?
Yeah.
This is not the Pinot Grigio that we ordered.
This tastes like a Sauvignon Blanc.
Sauvignon Blanc is French for shit wine. Fuck yeah.
What is Jake? What is the last thing Joel said?
Oh,
say?
yeah.
have so
The
many.
very
All right,
last one.
So we got,
Read the last one.
Joel.
Yeah.
let's see. Joel on YouTube says, I hated cocaine, but loved the way it smelled. Yeah. I mean, that's,
Oh, it has a scent to it?
It smells like gasoline.
Uh-huh.
Because it.
And it literally smells like gasoline.
Yeah.
I get
Well, the
it.
first
Well.
couple times you do it. After that, it smells like love.
Yeah.
It just
Closest thing guys
it's
like
so
us will ever find.
It's it's the first few times you do it, the back drip tastes like aspirin, But then, like, the fourth time, you're like, this literally tastes better than the greatest pizza on earth. and
Does it make you go to the bathroom a lot?
Once you get a little bit older, you got to shit a lot.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a young person's drug.
It
I'll
is
say
a
that.
young
Yeah. It's sort of funny because when you're younger and you do it, you feel like you're that cool, like rock star, like Studio 54, whatever. But then after this, it's like, oh my god, I just feel like I drank 4 espressos and I have to shit. It loses some of the fun when you get old. It's just like most drugs. It's it's for young
in case
people.
my PO is listening, I haven't done it in many years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just in case my wife, producer Amy, is listening, I haven't done it in several months. I don't. Yeah.
That's why I'm staying up all night with the baby. I'm fine.
Yeah.
I can stay up all night.
It makes me a good dad. It makes me a good dad.
What do you want me to drop him? I got to stay awake to not drop him. I don't want to. Yeah, but no, people. On a serious note, if you're listening out there, don't do cocaine.
It's just actually none of it's cocaine these days anyway.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
terrible
Yeah,
drug.
that it's
very
so scary
scary.
nowadays.
Unless you've been drinking, then do a bit of cocaine. You know what I mean? Just don't do it
Only
by
if you
itself.
plan on driving home.
Yeah, because it'll keep your eyes on the road. It's good. But yeah, people that have just been doing coke by itself are annoying. They're just, you want to talk about really intense gibberish for 8 hours? Oh, I think all our friends are cops, man. Just don't do that. Just do a few bumps while you're drinking. Just don't go crazy with it.
Yeah.
That's what I tell all the kids in
Do
high
we
school.
have comments to read or? where are we?
Matt on
Best
YouTube
advice
says,
for doing cocaine I've ever heard of.
dude, it's fucking great.
No,
They
you
never
really did.
invite me back to a single high school to give that speech twice, but it's the fucking best advice those kids have ever heard.
Just do a little bit when you've
Yeah.
been drinking too much. It makes
Just
you less of an ass.
A few key bumps with some drinks. That's all you want. It's not even fun when you do more than that. You just get really intense and gibbery. You start grinding your teeth. You need fillings after that.
I do grind my teeth.
Yeah, exactly.
I wear a mouth guard.
There you go.
Right, see where my grinder's at. Yeah.
Grinders. I'm on Grinder. Anyway, Matt on YouTube says, never I saw Lee Marvin throw Pablo Escobar out of an ice cream truck. That turned me off of coke.
Wait, you're from Tucson?
Apparently. I don't know. Maybe.
That was a Tucson joke.
Yeah.
It was only for people from
I'm
Tucson.
sorry. I'm sorry. I was so
too
tied into the comments. I
soon.
thought I
Oh.
Hit me with a big pun. Jericho has to go to the bathroom
Joel, you
first.
just
are you going- oh, I
Amy
was
isn't
like-
listening. She's getting the blanket for the couch out of the closet. Amy on YouTube says, bah, ha, ha. Anyway, this has been an awesome episode, man.
Yeah.
You guys have been great. Thank you so much to everybody.
Wait, bro,
who listened live.
before you guys shut it down,
Yeah.
rate the two of us as how fun was this episode?
Oh yes,
Dude.
feedback.
Dude,
I will
this
honestly
fucking
say
murdered.
this is
This
probably one of
fucking
my
murdered.
favorite episodes.
It was, dude.
Like-
This
Give me love.
fucking
Yay.
murdered.
Like legit.
I even told, and I'm not even lying, I told Suzanne earlier today, like, a messenger, like, I'm looking forward to this episode. This is gonna be, like, I knew it was gonna be good.
Yeah,
I knew it
and
was
then
gonna be good.
we were like, "This is gonna be a good episode, isn't it?"
Yeah.
It was
This
a great
fucking rocked,
episode.
dude.
You guys
this
were
was a great
amazing
episode.
guests.
You guys were fucking awesome.
So amazing.
Everybody out there on YouTube was awesome. Thank you to everybody who watched and commented live. Thank you to Joel. Thank you to Matt. Thank you to Amy. Thank you to everybody out there listening. Remember, like and subscribe, people. We are live every single Thursday at Thursday. I need another fucking White Claw. That's what that means. Thursday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Thank you to Teresa. Thank you to Jericho. Until next week, later.
Validation.